This coming Bank Holiday Monday, May the 3rd, sees the start of our Spring Nutrition Kickstart. It's a little bit later, as I wanted to give you a chance to get into the habit of training before we move on to nutrition. But this challenge is all about macro tracking. Measuring the input you have of calories, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates is essential for maintaining and improving body composition and performance. To get started, all you need to do is to set up a MyFitnessPal account, either by downloading the app on your phone or setting up an account on your computer. Once you've done so, I suggest that you add CrossFit_Chilton as a friend and set your privacy settings, your visibility settings on MyFitnessPal, that friends can see your food diary. That way, if you have any questions regarding your food diary, you can email me, I can have a look via my account, and we can discuss ways we can improve it. Once you set up your account, I suggest, if you haven't used MyFitnessPal before and you haven't been involved in one of our previous Kickstarts, that you practice a little bit with the app. Learn how to add foods. You can do it using the barcode on your food, which is a great option. This is the reason we use MyFitnessPal, is because it has the biggest user base and therefore the biggest database of foods on there. And you can also input foods and search for foods manually. Have a little play around and a practice this week prior to the Kickstart starting on Monday the 3rd. For week 1 of the Kickstart, I'm keeping it very simple. All you need to do is input the food that you are eating that week. You will need to weigh and measure your foods. As many of us know that have done this before, eyeballing and guessing quantities of your food is a very inaccurate way to track your nutrition. We often underestimate portion sizes. The best example I can give is if you ever eat nuts as a snack and you weigh the amount of nuts you have and you look on the packet and see how many nuts they have in a suggested portion size, you'll see that often you're way over, and the amount of calories in that portion of nuts you've had is enormous. Weigh and measure your food. The simplest way to do so, and this is how I do it, is I just put the plate or the bowl that I'm going to be eating out of onto the scales, zero the scales off, and then add food as I go. So I've add the meat first of all. I know that meat weighs 200 grams, and then I add the vegetables, and the scale goes up to 500 grams. I know that I've got 300 grams of vegetables on top of the 200 grams of meat, etc., etc., etc. Yes, it's a little bit labor intensive. The goal is that over the course of this Kickstart, we do get a better understanding of portion sizes, and we can therefore go back to just eyeballing our foods. What I always suggest you do is, if you are tracking your food, that you weigh and measure for a period of time that allows you then to have an idea of your portion size, eyeball it once you feel like you're confident in those portion sizes, then go back to weighing and measuring and see how much you have buffered your portion sizes over the weeks following that period where you actually were weighing and measuring. That's all we're doing this week. There are obviously some challenges to overcome when you're doing these Kickstarts where it's weighing and measuring, because there'll be times when you're not at home and you do have to guesstimate, which is why this pre-Kickstart week is a good opportunity to do so, to sort of get an understanding of portion sizes, so that when you do start next week, if you have a few days where you are eating out, you can have a better understanding or a better guess of what those portions are. Now, the great thing about MyFitnessPal, and the reason I like to use it, is because it has such a large user base and therefore such a large food database, that often you can search for things that maybe you wouldn't expect to find. You know, if you go to a Costa or a Starbucks, all of their products are usually in there, and actually some restaurant portions are in there as well. So do use that search option and see if you can find what you're having if you go out for a meal. If not, just use a best guess. It's still going to be better than what you're doing right now, which is absolutely nothing. That's week 1 of the Kickstart. Now, if you have done this Kickstart previously and you want to jump ahead to one of the later weeks in which we add in a bit more detail, a bit more planning, then please feel free to do so. But for those people that are doing this for the first time, try to stick with keeping it nice and simple and just weighing and measuring and inputting food as you would do normally. One of the great parts of doing this is it's a big eye-opener. And actually, once you're doing those first few days of weighing and measuring, you actually become a little bit more conscious about what you're eating anyway. And you make positive changes just by being aware of what you're putting into your body. That's your challenge for week number 1. I've attached a few more details to email and also to our Nutrition Kickstart webpage and the Facebook CrossFit Chiltern members page. Also, please check those out. And if you do have any questions before we get started, feel free to email me. We are all about making sure that you're getting results. And I know, and I express this to everyone who comes in, nutrition is huge for most people's results. Most people train, well, for health. Food is important for that, but also for looking better naked. And the way that we do that is much more about what we put into our bodies than the outputs, in other words, the workouts that we do. Ensuring that we are eating correctly is hugely important. And those of you that aren't training for that, you're training just for performance, well, then you should definitely be thinking about what you're putting into your body. Are you getting enough calories? Are you getting enough of the other macros? We'll talk more about that in future weeks, but let's first of all find out where we sit after week 1. So it starts on Monday, May the 3rd. The other task you can do between now and then is to get your body composition measured. We at CrossFit Chiltern, some of you may even not know this, we have an InBody, which is a medical grade body composition analyzer. It is in the studio behind me through that wall there. Check out InBody on our website and make sure you follow the protocols before you do your measurements. I'm going to go through a few of those now so you don't forget. You never ever measure post-workout or post a big meal. That will massively skew the accuracy of your results. If you measure post-workout, your body fat will always show far lower amounts. It just skews it. You want to measure before you eat and before you train. Now, if you train first thing in the morning, you eat breakfast. It doesn't matter if you have a very light breakfast and then you measure yourself, but not after you've had your Sunday roast and then go and weigh yourself straight after that. Make sure you use the wipes to help the conductivity, and try to, when you measure and remeasure, do that at the same time of each day. We will be doing this Kickstart for 28 days, so 4 weeks, which means that girls, it's important that you measure at the same time in your cycle. If you're doing it over that 28-day period, that should work perfectly for you to get an accurate measure, because as you know, I'm sure your weight, your water weight, will fluctuate throughout a menstrual cycle. So it's really important that you try and track on the same days. That's going to give us a great benchmark. Tuesday's workout, it's bank holiday coming Monday, so there's no classes on Monday. Tuesday's workout is a workout that some of you have done before. It's Weight Watchers, and that's based around your body weight if you are doing it RX. So it's a good time to get that body composition worked out. The other part of this Nutrition Kickstart is that it starts on a bank holiday and it finishes the Sunday before the Whitsun bank holiday, or what it's called now, summer bank holiday. On that Monday, we will be performing, we're always closed on bank holidays because of planning, but on that Monday, we will be performing, at some point in that day, Murph, which is, those of you who haven't done that, a hero workout that all CrossFit boxes around the world do. 1 mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 press-ups, 300 squats, and a 1 mile run. I haven't decided on how we're going to partition that this year, but I will tell you right now that your body composition being leaner, in other words, you're carrying less fat in your body, it's going to make life a lot easier when the whole workout is about moving your body weight from somewhere between 40 minutes to an hour and a bit. Definitely important time to get that nutrition kickstart on point if we're looking to set some good times and not to challenge ourselves too much in that workout that's coming. I'm really excited to get back into this routine of running our 4 kickstarts a year. As I said, we're a little bit delayed due to the lockdown, moving it around. So we'll be squeezing another nutrition kickstart in very soon after this one to make sure that we're reinforcing these good behaviors. Let's get started. Get yourself ready to go. I'm going to start tracking earlier this week just to get back in that habit prior to Monday, so I don't forget actually when it's coming Monday that we have. As I said earlier, if you have any questions, please drop me an email. It's jeremy@crossfitchilton.com, or just pull me to one side when I'm at the box and you're training, as long as I'm not coaching a class at that point and trying to demo something. I'll be happy to answer any questions because I know that this gives you such great return on your investment in this time. I want to see all of you getting some really good results with this kickstart. Thanks, guys.